us with the boy. Mommy needs to know so we can make it never happen again.
I'm Thalia Ashuris. Down the drain, how billions of U.S. reconstruction funds are being wasted in Iraq. Crash questions. TV news helicopters under scrutiny after the collision that left 4 people dead. A CBS News exclusive. This woman says her Army son was killed in a gang initiation at the hands of fellow soldiers.
My son never ever spoke of joining a gang.
And go with the flow. Meet the folks who put the ship into home ownership.
This is the CBS Evening News with Thalia Ashuris.
Good evening, everyone. There seems to be further strain tonight between the U.S. and Iraq. A top Iraqi official says Prime Minister Maliki's dealings with U.S. Commander David Petraeus are so bad that Iraq may demand his removal. And the new U.S. audit reveals Iraq is bungling its end of the U.S.-funded reconstruction program. Alan Pizzi reports from Baghdad.
In an effort to shore up a government that is barely holding together, Iraqi Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki made his first trip to the violence-ridden Diyala province this week. He arrived on the heels of what the U.S. military says is growing success against insurgents in Diyala who were forced out of Baghdad by the surge. The Iraqi leader's discussions with local officials were kept private,
no cameras,
but he reportedly praised them for progress in bringing tribesmen into an alliance against insurgents. The same can't be said about his government's progress in rebuilding the country. A report by a U.S. Federal Oversight Committee this week said that while the U.S. had finished nearly 3,000 projects at a cost of almost $6 billion, the Iraqi government had agreed to run only 435 of them, only about $500 million worth. The U.S. points to the number of projects built, but many of them fail as soon as they are done. A $90 million rehabilitation of the Dura power plant failed because local employees didn't know how to operate the turbines and used the wrong fuel. The same problem applies to security. Lieutenant General Ray Odierno said his troops had a plan in place for Diyala, but ultimately it came down to Iraqi forces being able to take over from American troops. There's always the danger that as soon as you walk out, as soon as there's not an American on hand, either to tell them what to do or for them to impress, that it all slides away again.
That's why ultimately our strategy needs to be a deliberate one, which allows us to maintain people here to help them over a longer period of time. This will not be fixed in 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years.
Considering that it took the Prime Minister 15 months to make this visit, and his government has taken over barely 1 in 7 finished reconstruction projects, that may be an optimistic timetable. Alan Pizzi, CBS News, Bakuba.
A senior defense official confirmed today that the U.S. is preparing to sell a $20 billion arms package to Saudi Arabia and other Gulf states. The official says the deal would upgrade the Saudis' missile defenses, Air Force, and Navy. The White House is hoping for congressional approval this fall. In Washington, Vice President Dick Cheney had surgery today to replace the implanted device that monitors his heartbeat. Cheney left the hospital after 4 hours, and officials said he feels fine. In Dayton, Ohio, a fatal crash in front of thousands of spectators at an air show today. Veteran stunt pilot Jim Leroy was killed when his biplane did not come out of a loop-the-loop and slammed into the ground, bursting into flames. Members of the National Transportation Board are now in Phoenix investigating that fatal collision of 2 TV news helicopters yesterday. The accident has focused attention on what is an increasingly dangerous means of gathering news. Here's Bill Whitaker.
In a horrendous twist in the skies over Phoenix, those who cover the news became the news. 2 TV helicopters colliding, burning, killing the 4 newsmen on board, the pilots and photographers for KTVK and KNXV.
When they hit it, it sounded like a bomb went off, and my stomach just dropped.
We saw the tail end come off one and debris go everywhere.
The choppers were in pursuit of the kind of story that is a staple of local news, especially out west, the police chase.
It's just kind of a slow chase right now.
Police pursuing a man in a work truck. He hijacks another. 5 choppers covering it all from above. At one point, you hear one pilot notify another they're getting close.
3, I'm right over you. 15's over top of you.
Moments later, they collide.
It almost seems like it was slow motion at this point now, but it wasn't. It happened very quickly.
I think
I just saw O.J. Simpson on the 5 freeway.
In Los Angeles, televised chases were already a staple when the rest of the country tuned into this. Since O.J., the skies above L.A. have become more crowded, chases more common.
Skies have changed dramatically as far as the news coverage.
Larry Welk flies for KCBS in L.A.
Let's take a brush fire, for instance. You'll have the firefighting aircraft, you'll have the news media, you'll have radio stations, so you could have as many as 10 or 12 helicopters all in one area.
The FAA says it's seen no problem with news choppers, but
it's an accident waiting to happen.
Aviation attorney Justin Green says as the skies grow more crowded, they're growing more dangerous.
When you have no rules, there's no rules about minimum distance between the helicopters, you're going to end up having accidents like this.
Federal investigators are now in Phoenix. Meanwhile, Phoenix police arrested 23-year-old Christopher Jones for vehicle theft and resisting arrest and say he might also be held responsible for the deaths of the news crews. Bill Whitaker, CBS News, San Francisco.
Wall Street is nursing its wounds this weekend. The major stock market indices suffered their worst week in almost 5 years. Now, getting much of the blame is a worsening credit crunch. Tony Guida has more.
What a difference a week makes. Thursday, July 19th.
Another record-setting day for the stock market.
7 days later.
This was one of the worst days of the year for the markets.
What in the name of Dow Jones is going on?
I'm not sure that there's anything rational about pricing stocks, and I'm not sure that investors are always rational.
Whatever they are, investors have been very bullish for almost 5 years, driving the market higher. It's been almost a straight line up over the past 13 months, an impressive rally fueled by liquidity, Wall Street's fancy word for easy money. Consumers grabbed this cheap credit to buy homes or borrow against what they thought was their ever-rising value.
This was not America at its smartest and brightest. We all know better.
Corporations and hedge funds took the money and ran with it to create mega deals. But on Thursday, a major hit for the housing market. New home sales down sharply, with even worse numbers expected in the months ahead. Couple that with signs that international credit was drying up, hedge funds going bust, corporate deals postponed. Cadbury Schweppes couldn't find buyers for 7-Up and Dr. Pepper, and Wall Street got nervous. But many analysts maintain the economy is sound.
Our GDP looks good. Our employment rate is relatively low. Our interest rates are low.
And veteran traders like Ted Weisberg point to a fundamental market rule.
At the end of the day, it's going to be corporate earnings that drive stock prices.
And corporate earnings have been strong recently. Wall Street will be watching closely as General Motors, Procter & Gamble, and others announce results next week. Another key for Wall Street will come on Tuesday with the latest numbers on consumer spending. Any sign that consumers are feeling pinched and cutting back could be another jolt to the market. Dahlia?
Tony Guida, thanks so much. Still ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, a CBS News investigation. Gang members in uniform. Are their rising numbers undermining the military? And when we come back, an outpouring of grief for a mother and her daughters killed in their own home.
Here's to a healthy heart and all the wonderful feelings that come along with it. New Benefiber Plus B vitamins and folic acid. Clear, tasteless fiber with heart-healthy B vitamins. Benefiber. Improve the fiber of your being.
I'm Edward Shellman, ILS&H wastewater system. If your septic system fails, it will either back up into the yard, into the house. It's going to get expensive, and it's going to get expensive fast.
Rid-X uses bacteria and enzymes to help prevent septic backups.
I would recommend you use Rid-X once a month.
There's a new Pulse that can give you a dentist clean feeling. New Pulsar Pro Health from the experts at Oral-B. Soft micropulse bristles pivot and pulse to clean deep between teeth, giving you a dentist clean feeling. Pulsar Pro Health from Oral-B.
Looking for long-lasting relief from muscle pain? Try Thermacare. Clinically proven to provide 16 hours of pain relief from 8 hours of heat. Wrap yourself in long-lasting relief.
It's a big world, and it's my job to shrink it. I'm a model maker. We shrink buildings, we shrink landscapes. I make it really small. So when my doctor said that my going was because of an enlarging prostate, I said, how can we bring it down to size? He said, Avodart. He said, Avodart's different because over time, it actually shrinks the prostate and improves urinary symptoms over the long term. Other medicines don't treat the cause because they don't shrink the prostate.
Avodart is for men only. Women should not take or handle Avodart due to risk of a specific birth defect. Tell your doctor if you have liver disease. Rarely sexual side effects, swelling, or tenderness of the breasts can occur. Only your doctor can determine if your symptoms are from an enlarged prostate and not prostate cancer. So have regular prostate exams. Ask your doctor about Avodart today. It's your growing problem. It's our job to shrink it. Avodart.
Wouldn't you know it? One moment we're on the road to romance, when suddenly it gets interrupted. That's why for guys like me with ED, there's Cialis. Cialis is the only erectile dysfunction tablet clinically proven to both go to work fast in as little as 30 minutes for some men and work up to 36 hours. The fact that Cialis can work fast is great, but having up to 36 hours gives me the option of being ready once the moment is finally right.
Tell your doctor about your medical conditions and all medications and ask if you're healthy enough for sexual activity. Don't take Cialis if you take nitrates for chest pain, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Don't drink alcohol in excess with Cialis. Side effects may include headache, upset stomach, delayed backache, or muscle ache. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help if you experience priapism, an erection lasting more than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease in vision, stop taking Cialis and call your doctor right away.
Why ask your doctor about Cialis? Because even after an interruption, you can still be ready.
When the moment is right, you can be ready with Cialis.
It's violent, bloody, and full of action.
Hit him! Knock him out!
So why do Americans love this kind of fighting? We just told you. 60 Minutes tomorrow.
Thousands today mourned a woman and her 2 daughters who were brutally murdered in their Connecticut home this week. The crime has people in small towns in that state questioning their safety. Randall Pinkston reports.
This is the way their family and friends remember them. 48-year-old Jennifer Hawk Pettit and her daughters, Haley, 17, who had hoped to become a physician like her father, and 11-year-old Michaela. 2,000 attended today's memorial service at a college auditorium to comfort the grief-stricken family.
This is the second hardest thing that I've ever done in my life. The hardest thing came yesterday when we buried Jen, Haley, and Michaela.
All 3 were murdered in their home in Cheshire, Connecticut, a quaint town with $500,000 homes and, until now, a feeling of security. Early Monday morning, police say 2 ex-convicts invaded the Pettit's residence, bludgeoned Dr. William Pettit, and assaulted his wife and daughters.
This thing doesn't happen in Cheshire. We're the type of community where people go to bed and they don't lock their doors.
Police were tipped off when one of the suspects took Jennifer Pettit to a bank to get cash. Police arrived just as the 2 suspects who set fire to the house were trying to flee, but crashed into unmarked police cars. They are under arrest. The prosecutor intends to seek the death penalty. The crime has unnerved local residents.
I've been really freaked out by this.
A gun store owner says he's sold out of shotguns and has a backlog of requests for pistol permits.
People are just scared. They feel they need to protect themselves.
William Pettit, his head injury still visible, was the last family member to speak at the memorial service.
I guess if there's anything to be gained from the senseless deaths of my beautiful family, it's for us to all go forward.
A father's plea.
Spread the work of these 3 wonderful women.
To remember the wife and children he has survived. Randall Pinkston, CBS News, New York.
In sports, San Francisco's Barry Bonds is only 1 home run away from tying Hank Aaron going into tonight's home game against Florida. The Giant slugger hit number 754 last night against the Marlins. With his next homer, Bonds will equal Aaron's all-time record. Just ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, a soldier's story. CBS News investigates gang violence within the military.
I'm Edward Shellman. I own S&H wastewater system. If your septic system fails, it will either back up into the yard, into the house. It's going to get expensive, and it's going to get expensive fast.
Rid-X uses bacteria and enzymes to help prevent septic backups.
I would recommend you use Rid-X once a month.
Commanding
dozens of men under the most critical circumstances, Jim is a formidable man. But he was no match for something smaller than a drop of water. It KO'd Jim so fast he didn't know what hit him. It was a clot. Like Jim, if you've been hospitalized with heart-related chest pain or a certain type of heart attack, what doctors call ACS, chances are you've had a clot. But now Jim's doctor is helping increase Jim's protection against heart attack or stroke by putting Jim on Plavix. Plavix, taken with other heart medicines, helps provide greater protection against heart attack or stroke than other heart medicines alone by helping keep blood platelets from sticking together and forming clots.
If you have a stomach ulcer or other condition that causes bleeding, you should not use Plavix. When taking Plavix alone or with some medicines, including aspirin, the risk of bleeding may increase. To minimize this risk, always talk to your doctor before taking aspirin or other medicines with Plavix, especially if you've had a stroke. Additional rare but serious side effects could occur.
Ask your doctor about Plavix today, because no matter how formidable you are, you're no match for a dangerous clot. If you take Plavix with other heart medicines, continuing to do so will help increase your protection against a future heart attack or stroke beyond your other heart medicines alone. You may be feeling better, but your risk never goes away. Help stay protected. Stay with Plavix.
This is my mother, and this is my grandmother. Both my mom and my grandmother would experience bloating, irregularity. When I started having problems, I asked my mom about it, and she told me about Activia. I tried it, and I'm hooked.
Ooh, yum, yum.
Dannon Activia, with the natural culture Bifidus regularis, is clinically proven to help regulate your digestive system in 2 weeks.
This is when I get sad, because it's gone.
Help naturally regulate your digestive system.
Terracotta.
Stone. Bermuda.
York's new Affinity Series air conditioning systems are sleek, quiet, and efficient.
Jet black.
And they come in a choice of colors that are as distinctive as you are.
Champagne.
Because people like color. The new beautiful Affinity Series from York.
Senators Specter and Leahy on investigating Attorney General Gonzalez, plus a roundtable on the recent sports scandals. Face the Nation Sunday.
The U.S. military is charged with protecting the country. The troops are highly trained and disciplined. But in a CBS News exclusive, we have uncovered evidence of deadly gang activity, which the FBI says is threatening national security. Tonight, we bring you part one of our CBS News investigation. Gangs in the military.
Is it good, Juwan?
Army Sergeant Juwan Johnson got a hero's welcome while home on leave.
I not only love my son, I like the man he was becoming.
It was the last time his family saw him alive. When you heard he had died, he was in Germany. He wasn't even in a war zone.
He had finished his term in Iraq. I talked to him the day before his death. He said that, "Mom, I'm in the process of discharging out. I'll be home in 2 weeks."
On July 3rd, 2005, Sergeant Johnson came to this park, not far from his base in Germany, to be initiated into the Gangster Disciples, a notorious Chicago-based street gang. He was beaten here by 8 other soldiers in a jump-in, an initiation rite like this one, common to many gangs.
My son never, ever spoke of joining a gang.
Johnson died that night from his injuries. He was only 25 years old. His son, Juwan Jr., was born 5 months later.
I feel like I didn't prepare him enough to deal with this, and I should have. But I would have had I known that they were gangs that exist in the military.
Evidence of gang culture and gang activity in the military is increasing so much, an FBI report calls it a threat to law enforcement officials and national security. The signs are chilling. Marines in gang attire on Parris Island, paratroopers flashing gang hand signs at a nightclub near Fort Bragg, infantrymen showing off gang tattoos at Fort Hood.
It's obvious that many of these people do not give up their gang affiliations.
Hunter Glass is a retired police detective in Fayetteville, North Carolina, home of Fort Bragg in the 82nd Airborne. He monitors gang activity at the base and across the military.
If we weren't in the middle of fighting a war, yes, I think that the military could have a lot more control over controlling this issue.
Gang activity clues are appearing in Iraq and Afghanistan, too. Gang graffiti is on blast walls, even Humvees. Kilroy, the doodle made famous by U.S. soldiers, is here, but so is the star emblem of the Gangster Disciples. The soldier who took these photos told CBS News he's been warned he's as good as dead if he ever returns to Iraq.
We represent America. Our demographics are the same. So the same problems that America contends with, we oftentimes contend with.
The U.S. Army Criminal Investigation Command reported 61 gang investigations and incidents last year, compared to just 9 in 2004. But Army officials point out less than 1% of all its criminal investigations are gang-related.
These small numbers are not reflective of a tremendous, pervasive, rampant problem.
The rise in gang activity coincides with the increase in recruits with records. Since 2003, 125,000 recruits with criminal histories have been granted what are known as moral waivers for felonies including robbery and assault.
Does it matter that I was in a gang or anything?
A hidden camera investigation by CBS Denver station KCNC found this recruiter quick to offer the waiver option allowed by regulations.
You may have had some gang activity in the past and everything, okay? And that in itself is not disqualifying.
Military regulations do not ban members of street gangs. Sergeant Juwan Johnson's family says such a prohibition is long overdue.
Just maybe we can save somebody else's child, somebody else's husband, somebody else's father. And I would have loved to have seen him with his child. I really would have. So that part's hard.
A military court this month sentenced 2 of Juwan Johnson's attackers to prison, in one instance for 12 years, in the other 6. On tomorrow's CBS Evening News, we'll report on warnings from police that gangs in the military are branching out to America's streets. Coming up on tonight's CBS Evening News, a new wave in housing that could help homeowners survive a flood.
Honey, how do I stop this itch?
Oh, is it dry skin, bug bite, sunburn, allergy, grass itch, prickly heat, eczema, rash, poison ivy?
The only medicine you need is Lanacane. It stops itching on contact, kills germs too. Lanacane, the everyday, every itch fighter.
You ever notice when your back hurts, you get stuck? Well, this is how I get unstuck. Bare back and body. Takes the pain away, gets me moving again. Bare aspirin. Expect wonders.
2, 3, 4. Got me a honey, gonna set my soul on fire. At the end of the day, I'm not a guy who's stray, 'cause she's my heart's desire. Now this lonesome toad is sick of the road. I can't wait. I can't wait to go home. Viva Viagra.
Talk to your doctor about Viagra, America's most prescribed treatment for erectile dysfunction. Learn more at Viagra.com.
Viva Viagra.
Ask your doctor if your heart is healthy enough for sex. Don't take Viagra if you take nitrates for chest pain, as it may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Side effects may include headache, flushing, upset stomach, and abnormal vision. To avoid long-term injuries, stop taking Viagra and call your doctor right away if you experience a sudden decrease in vision or an erection lasting longer than 4 hours.
It was so frustrating, like a mystery I couldn't solve. Night after night, strange sensations in my legs kept me from falling asleep. So I had to get up and move when all I wanted to do was rest.
I had restless leg syndrome. My doctor confirmed it. He said with restless leg syndrome, the symptoms usually get worse at night or in the evening when it's time to relax. And then he said something else. Requip. He said Requip would help relieve those RLS symptoms that kept me from getting to sleep. He told me what to watch for, that Requip may cause you to fall asleep or feel very sleepy during normal activities such as driving, or to faint or feel dizzy when you stand up. Tell your doctor if you experience these problems, or if you drink alcohol or are taking medicines that make you drowsy. Side effects include nausea, drowsiness, vomiting, and dizziness. Most patients were not bothered enough to stop taking Requip. Thanks to Requip, the RLS mystery is not keeping me up anymore. Ask your doctor if Requip can help put your RLS to rest.
Thousands of fugitives have turned themselves in at a church, making your streets safer. How it works in an Eye on Crime report, Monday on the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric.
Well, there's more rain ahead in the forecast for flood-stricken parts of Britain. But in another kingdom by the sea, people are learning how to float above it all. Mark Phillips is there.
When you call in the movers in the Netherlands these days, they may show up with tugboats instead of a van. The housing market in Holland is buoyant. literally. The Dutch, half of whose country lies below sea level, have been fighting off the water for centuries, building their massive sea defenses higher and higher. But with the prospect of sea levels rising even more, they're taking a new tack. Instead of worrying that their homes will be swamped by the water, they're building homes designed to float on it. Big homes. Developers like Mark Van Omen offer open-plan living areas. Rooftop dens leading onto wide decks.
This is the third floor.
The third floor. And leading out onto this pretty spectacular deck area. Bedrooms, like everything else, with water views. But it's not just the lifestyle that's appealing. This sort of home, built in factories, essentially on a big shoebox-shaped floating concrete box, can be placed in areas that are out of bounds to regular housing because of the flood risk.
There's a change within the last couple of years in Holland, quite drastic. Before, as you said, is fighting the water. There's more of a tendency of work cooperate with the water.
Some of the homes float all the time. Others normally sit on the ground, but are built on platforms that will float up when the water comes. Across Holland, there are growing established communities of floating homes. The Dutch call these houses arks, like Noah's, and they perform the same function. When the flood comes, and it will, they'll float up with it. After centuries of trying to fight off the sea, the Dutch are finally learning to go with the flow. It's not only smart, it pays. The houses, like the Vissers Canalside model, and the land it's moored on, cost what a comparable land-based home costs. And the values have, like the waters, been rising. Not only that, what began as an environmental necessity has become chic.
We've got well-known people from Holland that work in the movies or on telly or whatever, and they live on water. We've had royalties living on water in the last few years.
There's no shame in it, obviously.
No, it's very popular, yeah.
And for a lot of reasons, becoming more popular all the time. Mark Phillips, CBS News, Amsterdam.
Wouldn't mind one of those. We'll be back.
It fuels our lives and creates the products we depend on. It powers our workforce. It brings us home and gives us warmth. It lets us travel the earth and reach for the sky. Vital for life. Too precious to waste. Oil and natural gas. Together, let's use it wisely. Learn more at energytomorrow.org.
If only everything refilled itself. Fortunately, Walgreens offers an automatic refill option for people who take medications regularly, so your prescriptions won't run out.
Finally tonight, better late than never. 88-year-old Walter Hart of Fort Myers, Florida, received his Eagle Scout badge today, roughly 70 years after he earned it. Hart joined the Navy before he could collect his badge. Very proud. And that is the CBS Evening News. Tomorrow on Sunday morning, the booming business of life coaching. Then on Face the Nation, the controversy over Attorney General Gonzalez. I'm Thalia Ashuras, CBS News in New York. Good night, everyone.
Is this the best album ever? Plus, a visit to paradise with Sir Richard Branson this Sunday morning.
CBS News. Experience you can trust.
It's comforting to know that no matter where you go or what you do, you're covered. That's why more than 1 million Tennesseans turn to Farm Bureau Insurance for their auto, home, and life coverage. That's because you don't have to be a farmer to enjoy affordable rates and exceptional service. Farm Bureau Insurance. Tennessee turns to us.